Do you miss your father?
Of course. Oh my gosh, well, every single day.
I miss my father too.
Every single day. Like I wish
He was here to see all of your success.
yes. Uh I yeah.
It's okay. It's
Yeah, I
okay.
think he'd be very, very proud of all of us
He's in the
and what we've been
room.
able to do.
Does he visit you sometimes?
Yeah, I dream about him. I do. Um Recently we went to his gravesite. You know, Spoo.
I know I didn't want to
Wait
do
till
this.
Bana,
I
ne?
didn't
No,
want
no,
to do
no.
this, but yeah.
Yeah. Now fascinating, and when I say Bana, I'll say Africa. We hadn't taken her to the gravesite since she was born. It was the first time we were taking her there. And before we got to the gravesite, she described my father's tombstone. She had never been there. We had never physically taken her there. But I mean, his tombstone is like a book. And she had described a book, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? Anyway, so this is in conversation with her the day before, and we're kind of giving her context, and I'm saying to her, Nana, we're going to go to the graveyard. She knows what a cemetery is. We're going to go, you're going to go see your grandfather is my father. He passed away a very long time ago. I show her a picture of my father, and she was like, I know him. And I was like, this is the first time I speak about it.
Yeah.
This was like 2 months ago, so. And she was like, yeah, he's tall. And she described him to a T. Now, how? The picture that I showed her was about yay big. It was a portrait. But she was like, no, he's tall. He came to visit me. I said, no. I cried until I was blue in the face because I was like, what do you mean? And then she described his place of rest. And I was like, nah. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. But I didn't find it extremely surprising because before he passed on, I dreamt of his passing. So there's a thing about dreams in our family and seeing and yeah, but it's so to have experienced and heard that from my daughter was I didn't know how to make sense of it. And I didn't feel like I had to make sense of it, but I was like, should she know him? Should he have visited her or appeared to her in whatever way? I'm grateful because I know that she is guided and looked after.
You know, I always say to people who still have both parents, guys, cherish your folks. I know some of you guys have got differences with your parents. Some of you guys always say it's irreparable. But if you can, be the bigger person and try to repair that relationship. Because once they're gone, these people, it doesn't matter how old you are. And they always say time heals, but it could have been 20 years ago. But the importance of a parent in anyone's life, in everyone's life, guys. Some of you guys who still have both parents, we don't have that luxury anymore. Cherish them. Find a way to reconcile with them. Find a way to build a relationship, even if they might have hurt you. But try and reconcile with the folks, man. My father does visit me sometimes. He visits me. I do get emotional. I miss him. There's times when I need certain questions answered. And he's not there to answer those questions as a man, that brought me up. And I was brought up by my stepfather. Biological father also passed on. So both of my dads passed on. And just sadly, recently, last week, we're burying his younger brother, my biological father's younger brother, Ubaba Mncane wami, Robert. May he so rest in peace. Lala ngoxolo Baba Mncane, Nkosi. He used to be a taxi boss in Tembisa. Was in the taxi business. Now, it's like I've lost all my fathers. But you still need a father. I'm a 45-year-old grown-ass man who's still crying about his father. But when he visits me, I feel him when he visits. I know days when I miss him so much. I miss him so much, and I wish you could be here to answer some questions that I have. Because this life thing has got no manual, man.
It doesn't.
You know
There's
what I mean?
no one size fits all. And I applaud you for being open and being able to say that as a 45-year-old man, you still yearn for your father's presence, his love, his knowledge, his wisdom. I'm grateful for the fact that they still live in us, in our DNA, in our lineage, in our ancestry. They are there. But sometimes you just need that physical presence, just a touch and a hug, you know? You need the sound of his voice, you need his scent. And it really makes a great difference. But you're a good man if it counts for something.
Yes,
you know?
ma'am.
You are a good man. And I think it's important for you to know that. And I think your fathers, all of them, not even would be, I know that they're proud.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that your father, when you passed, you guys were little girls.
Yeah.
Now you're so grown. Like, I'm sure you wish sometimes you could have been here to see his grandchildren.
You have
right?
no idea.
And how well you guys are doing as grown-ups.
You have no idea.
I saw Candice the other day hand her life over to God.
Yeah.
You know, being born again. I was so proud of her.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just so proud of all of you guys. You're such a beautiful example. I'm the father of a girl. You know, I'm a girl child's father. So every time when I look at sisters, I see you guys differently from before I had a child. Because I'm fathering a girl, every older girl or every older sister, like I see my daughter in you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I'm talking about your father.
Thank you. How is your daughter doing? Is she good?
She's doing great, eh? One of the things I like about her, because, you know, we work so hard so that they have a better life, right? So she's got a better life, obviously, because we work hard as her parents. But what I love about her is her humility. You know, she's not growing up as an entitled child because of who my parents are and because I've got everything I need. She's very humble. She respects people. She respects her peers. She's a good child. I'm very blessed that my child turned out like that. And I guess as parents, when we pray for our kids, those are some of the things we pray for.
Absolutely. I think ahead of our own personal needs and wants. And I was saying this with a very good friend of mine. And we're talking about how we can be so hard on ourselves as individuals. Obviously, we have our own individualistic ideas and goals and visions and things that we want to pursue and go after. We beat ourselves up for the moments where we kind of let ourselves down or we didn't show up for something the way we thought, hoped, and felt we should have. But regardless of the journey of life, when you look at your child and that child is happy or that child is smiling or that child is healthy, that makes up for everything. Everything in between just then becomes fickle and unimportant because that child sees you, hears you, feels you. Like, do you understand to your daughter? Like, you are her first hero. Do you understand? Like, a girl, when a girl sees her father, and that's why the presence of a father in a child's life is so imperative and so important. And I'll speak about this because, maybe I should. At the time, after the fight that Pretty had with Casper, we all saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. And it didn't match up to the experience of what was happening on the journey leading up to that day and leading up to that fight.
Yeah.
He was putting in so much time and effort preparing for that moment. Very little limited time, about 4 weeks. I mean, already the odds were completely against him. But what I cherished most about that moment and what I was incredibly proud of in that moment was his resilience. And he was so committed to that thing. And it had been a long time since I had seen him that passionate about something. And that, again, so resilient and so committed. That despite whatever health hazards there were, alarms were going off. Alarm bells were already going off. Like, maybe this isn't a good idea. Nonetheless, though, I was more interested in supporting and holding his hand and making sure that he saw it through because that's what he wanted. So that would override whatever fears anyone else had, right? And that's how life kind of is, right? You've got to commit to what you believe. And he committed to it and he saw it through. The result was not ideal, but he saw the day through. That was the point. The following day we went home. Life continued for us as per usual. My daughter Africa believes that her father can pick up cars and buses, you know? So even when the world ridiculed him and judged him and made a joke about what had happened, you know, despite the odds and whatever else, in my daughter's eyes, he was still the strongest man. And that for me was what I hoped he would hold on to instead of the noise of the world. That can very easily like cloud your judgment, impact your confidence as a man, can challenge what you may have thought and felt you were capable of. As a protector, as a provider, if you take these terms very seriously and you take these responsibilities on very seriously, and then something happens that challenges that, in the eyes of other people, if there's an opportunity for them to ridicule it, it's very easy for you to then believe the nonsense of the world, which is like, it's such a temporary thing. It's such a short-lived moment. Nonetheless, though, I'm glad that he held on to his daughter's words of like affirmation. And again, like, my daddy's my hero. I love my daddy. My daddy's strong, and and then you work past all of those feelings. It was a bit of a mess for him, and it was a little difficult